Hello everyone, I'm Eden and welcome back to the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. We are continuing with the second part of the trial of the second chapter, Turnabout Corner. We are going back into day 2 of trial after our second day of investigation where we have a lot more evidence, and I have a sneaking suspicion I know who done it, but we'll let the evidence tell the story. We are in the defendant lobby. This is it, the big day. Did you get any sleep? Yeah, I went to bed at 1 a.m. or so. Oh, what time did you wake up? 3 a.m. That's like me having a baby. That's only 2 hours, Apollo. But at least you have me. Ugh, and this fake kidnapper thing, and the amazing Mr. Hat. Here's looking at you, kid. Good luck today, Apollo. That voice, is it Phoenix? Yay, Phoenix is here. Hey, get any sleep? Mr. Wright. I was going out of my mind with boredom, so I signed myself out earlier today. Somehow that place makes fake piano playing at the Indigene pasta joint seem almost fun. Daddy, do you know who Prosecutor Gavin's witness is today? Take a guess. Is it him? Oh, Little Plum? Ah ha ha ha. That Sherman tank of a bond? No, guess again. Is it Phoenix, since he was on scene with the hit and run? Also, I'm tired of him looking scruffy. Like, I'm ready for him to look like regular Phoenix again. That's too bad. Speaking of moms, you need to find me a new mommy one of these days, Daddy. Oh, okay. Trying to set up Phoenix? It's barely morning and you're at it already, Trucy. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. Okay, so this is why I don't buy their father-daughter relationship. So, Mr. Wright, do you know who the prosecution's witness is? Oh, Alita Tiala, your client's fiancée. Well, the sneaking suspicion she's got more to do with this than, she initially let on. She's gonna be a witness? That seems odd. Why would she testify against her own fiancé? You have to wonder what Gavin's up to. Something's going down today, that much is clear. Yeah, these courtrooms are always a circus in these games. Well, not to worry, I've got my panties back. Okay, can we stop talking about panties? If we can't find a killer, I'll pull one out of there. 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Walkie-Talkie. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is warmed up and it's a sold-out house. Very well, to recap. While yesterday's witness seemed more guilty than any other party, guilty of panty snatching, we did find out one thing for certain. There were 3 people in the park at the time of the murder. The witness, the victim, and the defendant. Correct, Air Judge, and today I'd like to do something a little new age. I'd like to look at this horrible crime from the outside. The outside? The acquisition of the murder weapon, the preparation for the act. Our poor defendant told all, you see. To his betrothed. His fiancé, Air Judge, his partner for life, with no chance for parole. Is that what marriage is? No chance for parole. Very well, you may show the lucky lady to the stand. All right, Alita. That innocent smile doesn't fool me. Your name and occupation, Fraulein. Alita Tiala. My occupation is future wife and nurse, as we found out. Ah, traditional values. I respect that. Too many brides these days can't even weave baskets blindfolded, underwater. Yet you're here today as a witness for the prosecution? To be honest, I didn't want to testify at first, but I couldn't hide the truth. Honesty, another admirable trait. Fraulein, is it true that on the day of the crime, the defendant, Walkie-Talkie, confessed his plans? His plans for murder? Yes. The witness will please give her testimony to the court. All right, Alita, what do you have to say? Walkie's plan. It was the day that the family health checkup results came back. When Walkie found out that Dr. Maractus had lied, he flew into a rage. I'll teach him, he said. He took one of the family's pistols. And you already know what happened that night. I just don't see how anyone but Walkie could have done it. What? She's really throwing him under the bus. So the pistol did belong to the Kitaki family. Then, yes. With regards to this, an investigation is underway at the Kitaki mansion. On charges of the possession of illegal firearms, oops. And the bullet that took the victim's life, was it fired from the pistol the defendant procured? Yes, this has been proven. How can you prove something like that? Bullets carry, I was gonna say ballistics, it's pretty common. Bullets carry marks from the barrel that fired them called rifling marks. I've watched some CSI in my day. Rifling marks? Think of them as being a gun's fingerprint left on every bullet it fires. And when did you first hear about Walkie's plan? It was the day of the murder. I should have stopped him. I just didn't think he would actually do it. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. All right, Alita. No, don't bat your eyes at me. I found your shoes. Oh, the ring. Okay, so we're gonna do the perception thing. It was the day that the family health checkup results came back. That was the day of the murder, correct? Yes, everyone in the family received their checkup results that day. When Walkie looked at his face went so pale. But of course, he had just found out he had a bullet in his chest. So you were there at the time? Yes. Poor Walkie. When Walkie found out go into a rage. That must have been quite frightening. He was furious. He ripped his report up into shreds. Incidentally, I had to request another copy to file as evidence. A bothersome chore, but one I performed without complaint. Walkie's at an age where he's hard to control when he loses his temper. Of course, that little bit of instability is so cute. Yeah, no. Great, now he sounds like a psychopath. Yeah, I would say get out, Alita, but again, you're not so innocent. I'll teach him, he said. He took one of the family's pistols. So is it easy to take a pistol out from the house? No, really, not really, I think. There's a system in place to limit access. Walkie's a special case, being the next in line. Perhaps his treatment was a bit too special, yeah? Well, maybe he is a bit spoiled. I hear he got amazing presents for his birthdays. Last year was a switchblade made out of chewing gum and a chocolate gravestone. Sounds like he has a taste for sweets and danger. The point here being that Walkie had access to a pistol. And you already know what happened that night. Why don't you tell us? What happened? Meaning the murder. I tried to stop him, I really did. But Walkie wouldn't listen. Our defendant was nothing if not determined, it seems. The last thing you should do is blame yourself, miss. No, you should blame yourself. Yeah. How could you say that for certain? How? Whoa. Air, forehead, you will refrain from badgering the Fraulein. It was the defendant, Walkie was it, who took the pistol from his home. We know this for a fact now. I suppose we do. So how could anyone else have used this pistol to shoot the victim? They could not. Simple logic, yeah? That does seem to be the case. Does the defense have anything to say regarding this point? Could someone else have used that pistol? I mean, it could have been her. There was another. Based on your testimony, there was clearly another. One other person had access to that pistol. What's this? Interesting. Let's ask the defense then. Uh-oh, I'm gonna lose a point. I'm gonna say... Wait, where is she? Oh, here she is. I'm going to say her. Well, of course. I mean, you, Miss Tiala. Me? But why? You were quite clear when you told the court. You heard about the pistol from the defendant on the day of the murder. In other words, you knew what he was planning. Let me get this straight. You intend to tell us that this lady stole the pistol from her fiancé? I am. And killed a man in cold blood on his behalf? Look, her shoes, you can see them. She's wearing wedges, just like those shoes we found. I've heard of people doing strange things for love, but this? It does seem a bit unfathomable, to be sure. I'm all for romance, and for supporting a partner in life, to be sure. But I think I would hesitate at murder. I'd hope you do more than hesitate. But what if a different connection could be proven? A connection between the witness and the victim? We might find that she had a personal motive beyond wanting to help her fiancé. That would put things in a slightly different light. What possible connection are you suggesting here? You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think that the police never looked inside that safe. Yeah, I have evidence showing a connection between the witness, Miss Tiala, and the victim. She was his nurse. Is this it? Yeah. That looks like a medical chart. Found inside a safe at the Maractus Clinic. I'd like to draw the court's attention to the names written on the chart. What? Miss Tiala, whatever. Why is your name on this chart? Ha 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 ha. She's sweating bullets now. Well, care to explain the meaning of this, Miss Tiala? I'm not sure what you mean by meaning, Mr. Justice. Oh, now she's getting mad. Our warm little fiancé just froze over, yep. I was on staff at that clinic until a half year ago. It was boring, so I quit. That's all. Is there a problem with that? Miss Tiala, you testified that you had no connection to the victim. And I don't. Now. Ugh, semantics. Now. I quit half a year ago, didn't I? So there's no connection. Let me guess. You're the kind of guy who can't rest until he knows every last detail of his girlfriend's past. Am I right? Nope, she's getting sassy now. That's not true at all. Why, I embrace the ones I love. Past flaws and all, no matter. She's not talking to you. There's no connection now doesn't fly in a court of law. Exactly. Doesn't fly? She's one tough nut. She probably feels right at home with the Katakis. You left your job at the Maractus Clinic, true. But you remain connected somehow. Very well, Mr. Justice. Just evidence that proves the witness is still connected to the Maractus Clinic. Oh, still. I mean, we have her shoes. That's really the only thing I think I can present. Because we found these at the clinic. I guess I'll try this. These sandals were found in the Maractus Clinic lobby. They're yours, aren't they? Well, who knows? I'm sure there are lots of people who's with those sandals. So sorry, Fraulein, but your act isn't working. Oh, even he's turning against her. Your moment of hesitation just now cost you. What's with you? I thought you were on my side. Perhaps you are unaware that toes leave toe prints. A simple analysis of these sandals will reveal all. Well, now we see your true colors. I was wrong to cooperate with you from the beginning. I just wanted you to help get Waki back on the straight and narrow. This court thinks you need to worry less about Waki and more about yourself. It sounds as though we need to hear a bit more about your story. Your sandals were found in the entrance to the clinic, which means you went there on the day of the murder. Well, there's little point in denying it. Very well, the witness will tell us about this visit. Why did you go to the Maractus Clinic that day? Yeah, what do you have to say for yourself? I did go to the clinic that day, my first time in half a year since I quit in January. I went to warn him. After all, I knew Waki had the pistol. The doctor always was a timid man, too timid to admit his own mistake. Why else would I have gone? I'm not hiding any dark secrets. I wanted to tell him to be careful, as an old friend. Not hiding anything, By mistake, you mean the mistake we heard about from the defendant? The botched operation? He was a timid, small man, but I never wished him harm. I just thought I should let him know, you know? That does make sense. Yes, but there's still one thing which does not. What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? The sandals left in the lobby, of course. Yeah, why did you take your shoes off? We can assume she wore these sandals to the clinic, yeah? Then why did she not wear them home? If it were me, I would have worn them home. I would have worn those sandals home too. They like her fashion. So why were the sandals left behind? Can you explain yourself? He pointed out the contradiction before me. There's probably a good explanation for this, right, Miss Tiala? Say, for instance, don't give her any ideas. There happened to be a similar pair of sandals there, which you wore home by mistake. Actually, that's right. I'm impressed, Mr. Gavin. Oh, it is nothing. There is, after all, no other possible explanation. Yeah, forehead? Why would there just be a random pair of wedge sandals in the lobby of a clinic? Oh, what the? No fair. He's filling holes in their testimony. Exactly. He shouldn't be doing that. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Doesn't that have a term when you... leading the witness? Isn't that what it is? The Maractus Clinic. I did go to the clinic that day, my first time in half a year since I quit in January. I went to warn him. After all, I knew Waki had the pistol. Too timid to admit his own mistake. I kind of want to press on this. I'm not hiding any dark secrets. I think you are. No dark secrets, eh? What? Look at me however you want, Mr. Justice. You won't find a thing. She's hiding something, I know it. I must have some evidence that proves it, too. You're free to think whatever you like. I went to that clinic with only one thought in mind. Okay, that didn't really go anywhere, did it? Does she change at all? Whenever she's... See, here, she looks different than the others. Because that's part of the perception, is they kind of assume a different pose. Do I have some evidence about her not hiding any dark secrets? Oops, not that. I can present something here. I'm not sure what else I would be able to present. I want to tell him to be careful as an old friend. Maybe I need to... Let me press some more statements then. But then you'd be betraying Waki, wouldn't you? No, I did it for him. For us. She went to warn him so that her fiancé would not have to commit such a crime, yeah? I didn't want them to take my Waki away. There's no way she went to that clinic just to warn him. Do you know why she went, Apollo? Time to figure out what really happened at that clinic, and fast. Okay, yeah, there's something else. Let's try this. Around what time did you go to the clinic? I don't remember exactly, but it was after 9:30, I think. And that was the first time you had contacted Dr. Maractus in half a year? Of course it was. He wasn't the kind of boss that you made friends with. So why did you go to the clinic that day? And to warn him, after all, I knew Waki had the pistol. Did you want Dr. Maractus to run away? Well, after I failed to stop Walkie, I thought that was the only other way to avoid the problem. Couldn't you have called? Why go in person? I called several times that evening, but no one was in. The victim was busy driving home until after 9 p.m. that night, remember? This was proven by this mirror yesterday, yeah? I thought if I warned him, he would run away for sure, knowing the doctor. Because he was a timid man. Too timid to admit his mistakes. You mean that act of malpractice on Walkie, correct? If he had just told Walkie the truth in the beginning, none of this would have happened. True, that operation was the start of this whole affair. Of course, if he told him, he might have been erased by the Kitakis much earlier. A disturbing thought. We know that the Maractus clinic had ties to the Kitaki family. He probably couldn't have gone to the police, even if he wanted to. That's why I knew I had to warn him. Okay, so this definitely has to, be where it wants me to present something. Did I press on this last statement? I don't remember. I just don't know what it wants me to present. I mean, I could try presenting this again. Objection! This chart was found inside a safe in the doctor's office. Yes? Why would this one chart be in that safe? Miss Tiala, you know why it was, don't you? Mind filling me in? Dr. Maractus didn't have the leisure of making mistakes. That's why he wrote up a false report and kept the truth locked away. Bad, Air Doctor. And this is where you come in, Miss Tiala. The nurse who filed this chart was you, which means you knew about Walkie's failed operation. Interesting. You were in the same position as Dr. Maractus. Kind of makes it hard to claim no connection, doesn't it? You're bold for a novice, I'll give you that. Mr. Justice, you must know I was only a nurse. The doctor is responsible for the chart's contents. This chart business seems to be quite important. Please amend your testimony accordingly. Too bad, little attorney. Ooh. We're perceiving. My bracelet's reacting again. What is it, Apollo? Oh, I think I called it a ring. I forgot it was a bracelet. I felt my bracelet tighten just now. Your bracelet? Just like yesterday, like you said. When a witness is unsure of something, their nervous habit gives them away. But I can't see anything, Apollo. Eh? Then what's my bracelet reacting to? Wait, maybe? Guess that has to be it. What has to be it? Your senses, Apollo. They must be sharper than mine. Huh? I can't see it, but you can sense it. I don't know about that, Trucy. I don't have some kind of special power or anything. Listen to me, Apollo. There's a weak point somewhere in Miss Tiala's testimony. But we don't know what her nervous habit is. Well, then what do we do? You have to perceive it yourself, Apollo, with your eyes and your senses. And it's up to me and my bracelet. I don't know why, but the bracelet helps. Somehow touching it helps me focus. Let's give it a shot and bring down that testimony. Okay, why would I go to the clinic for a half-year-old chart? Okay, and then what's the next one? Okay, so this is the amended one. Let's press just to see what else she says here. But your signature was on that chart. So, what does that have to do with this case? If there was something in that chart to make me look bad, I would have dealt with it. The only one responsible for that chart is the presiding doctor, Dr. Maractus. She's hiding something, I can smell it. And I bet she's got a habit that gives it away. I just have to focus to find her nervous habit. Maybe it's time to give my bracelet a rub. Okay, so yeah, that's what it wants me to do. I just didn't know if she was going to say anything else important. So now we can perceive. I mean, she's doing something with her hands differently. It's... Oh, her ring. She's fiddling with her ring. Wait, back. What is it doing? Okay, she's not fiddling with her ring now. Oh no, I messed it up. Here again. Okay. So she's fiddling with her ring at one point. There we go. Gotcha! I think that's what she's doing. Maybe? Why go to the clinic for a half-year-old chart now, you ask? But you know why you would go now, don't you? I don't know what you're talking about. It was quite clear, Miss Tiala, you have a nervous habit. The moment you said the word now, you used your right thumb to fiddle with your ring. What? She was unsure. I saw it. Now. That's the key word. The chart wasn't a part of your past. It was a clear and present threat. That's ridiculous. Why? If that were the case, I would have had 6 months to do something about it. Indeed. Which means something happened quite recently. Something to make that chart a problem for you now. I've got her on the ropes now, I can feel it. Time to strike the killing blow with evidence. Miss Tiala, there's no use trying to hide it. The chart became a threat to you now because of this. Because of his current report? Let's try that. A health checkup report belonging to the defendant. The Kitakis are trying to get out of the business. The health checkup this month was their first ever. What did you think when you heard about this? Nothing. Why should I think anything? Oh, I would think you were positively beside yourself. Because you were afraid. You knew what Waki's chest x-ray would reveal. A full half year had passed since the operation. You thought you were home free, but then they had their health checkup and she found out she was not free. When the chart came back to haunt you. Ah! Oh my gosh. That's kind of scary looking. Ooh. All right, we have perceived. That's all, Your Honor. Well, what just happened? Did the witness just admit to lying? I sensed it. There was a great aura emanating from her forehead. Very cool. So the lady was lying, it seems. That's correct. She said she had no connection to the Maractus clinic, but her connection was deep indeed, a bit too deep. If the Kitakis got a hold of this chart with her name, she'd be finished. Isn't that right, Miss Tiala? You guessed it. Order, order. I did it. I broke her testimony. Amazing, Apollo. I didn't see it at all. Daddy was right about you. Wait. Miss Tiala? It's true. That chart was bad news for me. That's why I went to meet the doctor that day. But that's all. I told him about Waki and went home. Sure. It appears this cross-examination is far from over. What? She hid the truth from us. This is clear. Yet, it is not clear that this truth has anything to do with the case at hand. What do you mean? She went to see him on the day he was murdered. Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony. And we'll have a bit more cross-examination. Oh, I was so close. You're still close. Keep on her, Apollo. Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left. All right. Sure. How did Dr. Maractus respond to the warning? Oh, he was quite surprised. Panicky, even. Who wouldn't be scared to learn a Kitaki was after them? Incidentally, this court is not afraid of any mobsters. Why, we had a life-threatening situation just yesterday, right here in this courtroom. Yeah, real impressive the way you stood up to the attack of the amazing Mr. Hat, sir. After which I carried you back to your chambers. Sounds like the judge had quite a fright. Nothing happened in Dr. Maractus' office that day, huh? But what about the mess we found? Something definitely happened in that office, Apollo. I know. But we can't prove when it happened. Nor that Alita Tiala was in any way involved. Yeah, true. Well, let's try putting some evidence up anyway. There's no way she went to that clinic just to warn him. Do you know why she went, Apollo? Time to figure out what really happened to that clinic, and fast. Okay. So once... Ooh, probably need to present some kind of evidence... Here. Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left. I wonder if I should present the bullet? Let's see what happens with that. You say nothing happened in the doctor's office? I disagree. Take a look at this. What's that? It looks like a squished up ball of clay. Kind of like you, actually. Okay, no need to be rude here. This bullet was found in the Maractus clinic office. Something did happen in that office, Miss Tiala. But how are we going to link it to her? Enough of this joking around. The police investigated that clinic. Ah, but this was stuck inside the doctor's safe. Yeah, you guys didn't do a very good job. Inside the safe? I guess the police didn't check that far. Yeah, sloppy work. But there is a problem. How can you say that bullet was fired on that day? Ooh, so many ejections. Weren't you the one who explained rifling marks to us? The pistol was taken from the Kitaki mansion that day. If the marks on this bullet match the murder weapon, then that proves a firearm was discharged in that office on the day of the murder. Not bad, Air Forehead. Bailiff, have this bullet analyzed immediately. 30 minutes later. A report arrives. The rifling marks on both bullets are identical. Ooh. So we just sat around for 30 minutes? Well, it seems as though the bullet in the safe was fired from the murder weapon. Perhaps the defense would like to state their position? The bullet in that safe proves one fact. A pistol was fired in that office on that day, and at the time of the firing, the safe was open. The safe which contained the top secret chart. Do you think someone was threatening Dr. Maractus? In order to open the safe? Only one person was in such a position to do a thing. Our witness, Alita Tiala. So she went there with the pistol. Order, order, order! Mr. Justice, where are you going with this? Are you accusing the witness? I am. I've been accusing her since the investigation. Alita Tiala knew about Walkie-Talkie's botched operation. She got engaged to him without telling him about it. As long as that bullet remained in his chest, his days were numbered. What if she married him, and then the bullet finally reached its destination? What? That reminds me. Apparently, the Kitakis have been asserting themselves in lawful business practices. They're making quite a great deal of money. A fortune, if you will. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I don't know if I said it out loud. I was wondering if she was just marrying him for money or power or something, knowing that he was going to die. Nefarious. Does she plan to marry him just to get her hands on this fortune? You keep talking trash about my Alita, and I'll sue you, lawyer man. Huh? Me? Yeah. You said you'd abuse my Alita. What? I think you mean accuse. Oh, okay. Same difference. Well, you can't have her. She's mine. It was me. I shot that doctor. Me. He left me to die, so I left him to die too. There in that park. Walkie, just cool down a second, please. You keep your hands off my Alita, or I'll... He's getting mad. Tee-hee-hee. She's evil. Miss Tiala? I'm sorry. It's been so long since I've laughed so hard. Something funny. Walkie, wake up and smell reality. Alita, baby? The signature on the chart. The engagement. I mean, come on. It's so obvious. Even for a brainless, spoiled brat such as yourself, the curtain that is drawn, revealed. She's an evil and mean. Shocking. Alita. Your honesty is like a breath of foul air, Fraulein. Hey, I wasn't getting out of this clean anyway. So the family fortune is what you're really after? That's right. I wanted the money. No way. That's whack. I ain't trying to hear that. Should have done the wedding earlier. Oh well. By the way, can I ask you a question? Who, me? I believe you said you were going to abuse me. No, accuse. Of what crime, might I ask? Huh? Oh, I'm a bad girl, sure. I got close to that brat because I wanted his money, but he was the one with the pistol. He could have fired it into the safe after I already left the clinic. What? I would never do a thing like that. It was definitely that silly brat. Wait, but what are you talking about? Trucy? You had the most to lose if this chart was found. But I didn't have a pistol now, did I? Well, you could have taken Walkie's. You think he'd have mentioned that? No. All I've heard him say is, it was me. I shot him. I think he's defending you. Or not defending you. Well, yeah, I think he's trying to keep them from knowing it was you. That's only because he's trying to protect you. That's what I'm trying to say. He's trying to protect her. Sorry to intrude in this lovely conversation. But the two of you are forgetting one critical point. What point? Certainly, the Fraulein wanted that chart. You assume she threatened the doctor into opening that safe. But then... wouldn't she have taken the chart? Oh. You see? That chart wouldn't have been left in that safe. He's right. Ah, I hate when the prosecutors make a good point. Miss Tiala. Yes? It is clear to this court that you are not a very good fiancé. Oh, I'm flattered. Perhaps it's time you told us the truth. Tell us about yourself, including your actions and whereabouts on that day. Don't forget. We've proven that you were at the Maractus clinic on the day of the crime. The Maractus clinic too. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof that I stole that pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maractus was shot in the temple or not. I think I theorized that maybe he was dead before he even got to the park, but I don't know how that would work. And I guess if he was shot, the bullet would have blood on it, right? He went back later? That chart was dangerous, you understand. I needed to get rid of it. That's why I went that day. But you couldn't get the chart then, could you? Yeah, that's why she messed up the office later. And later that night, Dr. Maractus was shot. I heard about the shooting, waited a day, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place. That was you? Well, duh. Apollo, that sound. It came from behind this door. Someone's in there. Yeah, of course it was her. A break-in. They left through that window. So you were the burglar. That was you two? If only I had one more minute. Then I could have opened that safe and gotten the chart. What? That's trespassing. Brazen at that. Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, you can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They are gangsters, you know. In any case, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination. Admitting the little crime to avoid the big one, eh? She doesn't want to admit to murder. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get back to the clinic I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. In case I didn't shoot him, you didn't even have proof I stole the pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted at the park the moment of the crime. What should I press on? I guess when in doubt, just press on everything. Start there. But you could have stolen it. Could have? Is this some new definition of proof? We'll ask Walkie. He'll tell us. No, he won't. Might I remind you, this is a cross-examination? You might want to keep your baseless theories to yourself. He's right, isn't he? Maybe I should just start from the beginning. She looks different here. Maybe press here. Later. When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day. So I waited until the day after. The 16th, was it? Of course, you and that meddling kid had to get in my way. But why did Dr. Maractus keep that chart around? It was clearly dangerous for him. He could have burned it. Because he's a coward. The chart was his insurance. Insurance? My signature on that chart, to be more specific. That made sure I couldn't betray him. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously they were in it together. Okay, I don't think the first one really matters. I guess I can try this one. Yeah, but what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment that brat was seen in the park. What's the point in dragging it out any further? Okay, I guess this last one? The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes? So it seems. Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple. And then we established that the panty snatcher guy was not on the side that we thought he was. Yes, we heard testimony on this yesterday. At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here. No, I thought he was standing on the other side. Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look and was shot. Yeah, didn't we establish he was actually on the other side? That testimony was proven to be a lie, exactly. He was on the other side. Our egregious panty snatcher, Mr. Stickler, did witness the crime, but he was standing to the north, next to the trash can where he tossed those panties. If Mr. Stickler shouted from this location, the bullet couldn't hit his right temple. Silly, silly attorney. What? Do you remember what you had for breakfast that morning? Do you remember, Trucy? I always have a glass of milk for breakfast. What matters is one thing. The doctor was shot in his right temple. If that's the case, there can only be one explanation. The panties guy was mistaken. I don't think he was. But his location was proven. You can't write that off as him being mistaken. Yeah, we found his shoe print. Then why don't you show us, Air Forehead? Show you what? Must I explain everything? Very well, let's recap. Oh my god. If the witness, panties guy, was standing to the north, then where was the shooter standing? From what location did the killer shoot the victim? But wait, the witness was standing there. How could anyone shoot the victim in the right temple? Ah, ha ha ha. I merely laid out the facts for us. It is up to the one possessing the shiny forehead to show us. If you can, that is. Walkie-talkie was standing at the killer mark, Wesley Stickler at the witness mark, and of course Pal Maractus was at the victim mark. Let's see what the defense has to say. Where was the killer standing when they shot the victim? Hold on. So we're saying he was shot in the right temple. If he looked that way, should we just say somewhere else? I'm gonna say someplace else. As the facts stand now, we can't explain this crime without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The real killer shot from an entirely different location. What are you talking about? I don't see any other place. Apparently Mr. Justice does. Let's hear it. Where in the park did the killer shoot the victim from? It's time to raise the roof and the stakes. Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? Oh no. But what if they were a bit more terrifying? How many am I gonna lose? How many marks? Oh, I'm gonna lose 2? Like so. Double penalty? Air Forehead wishes to take us in a new direction. Then he must be ready for the challenges ahead. Uh-oh. Challenge accepted. It's justice time. Are you sure, Apollo? The key is the witness, Mr. Stickler's testimony. If we believe that, and we know where he stood, and the victim turned when he shouted, there's only one place the killer could have been. Inside the noodle stand? Because if he's facing that way, his right temple... I think that's what we're getting at here. Was she in the noodle stand? Like, directing him like he's like a horse pulling it? Like what? Let's try that. I believe we all owe a debt of gratitude to Miss Alita Tiala. What do you mean? Thanks to you, we had a chance to review the crime. And this time, we were prepared. We know that Wesley Stickler was telling the truth. We should have listened to him from the beginning. Wesley Stickler was standing next to the trash can when he saw 2 men. Yeah, because there was a shoe print on the other side. Maybe that was when she was getting out of the stand. He shouted just as he told us in his testimony. And the victim turned to look at his direction. A shot was fired. The victim was hit in the right temple. Oh no. Oh yes. Which direction was his right temple facing at that moment? That's right, toward the noodle stand. Order, order, order. So you're saying the killer was inside the noodle stand? Let's think about this a bit more, shall we? You say the killer was inside the noodle stand? Which would mean the victim, Dr. Maractus, came to the park. Wheeling his own murder in the cart behind him? Yeah, like was she like, whoops, drive the noodle stand, doctor. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I think you'd notice if you were pulling someone along. There's something we should worry about before that. Why was he pulling the noodle stand in the first place? Yeah. Let's deal with our problems one at a time, shall we? Someone was hiding in the noodle stand. We have not come this far to talk about possibilities. Let's talk about proof, baby. Show us evidence that proves someone was in that stand. Can I prove that? You want evidence that someone was in that stand? I'm gonna go with the slippers. I've got it right here. Intriguing. Let's see what you've got. Show us proof that someone was hiding in the noodle stand. I'm going to go with these. Maybe? The Maractus Clinic. And they're covered with paint. These slippers were found in a trash can near the crime scene. And a single slipper print was found at the scene. Right next to the noodle stand. Yeah, I guess she crawled out of it. Oh, and Miss Tiala, your toe print was found in the left slipper. In other words, this is proof you were inside that noodle stand. Ah! Yet there was only one slipper mark found at the scene. Can this be called a footprint in good faith? I would say yes. Observe the diagram. A park pathway runs right next to the slipper mark. A slipper wouldn't leave a trace on a cobblestone path. Yet you still cannot say this is a footprint, yeah? Why not? You have an impression left by a single slipper. What if it was on the stand and simply fell to the ground? With that much force that it leaves a mark? That's just dumb. One more thing. A noodle stand is typically cluttered with the tools of the noodle-making trade. There's no room for a person to ride in there. You have a point. Let's look inside. Could someone have hidden in that stand? Apollo, I think I might be onto something. Tell us, Strucy. I think I figured out one of our pieces of evidence. In order to make room in the stand, some things would have to be removed? Well, Mr. Justice, do you have proof that someone could have hidden in the stand? I can prove one thing. Someone did scheme to clear space in that stand. She took all the bowls out, right? Because there were a bunch of bowls inside the clinic too, if I remember correctly. This is a noodle bowl from the stolen Eldoon's Noodles noodle stand. Yes, and what about it? We discovered a large quantity of these bowls yesterday. Inside the clinic, in the lobby of the Maractus Clinic. A large quantity of noodle bowls in the victim's clinic? Mr. Eldoon was very clear about those bowls. Well, I don't care who did it. Without that stand, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls were in there too. Yet the bowls were removed. That night, there was space inside that noodle stand. Space created at the Maractus Clinic, no less. Right around the time that you were there, Miss Alita Tiala. Stop! So did he know she was in there? Like, that... I guess we'll figure it out. We'll keep going. I won't listen to any more of these wild fantasies. No, not fantasies. They're worse lies than that spoiled brat's pickup lines. I would like to remind the witness of her current status. This court does not consider you entirely innocent. Show me an innocent, I'll show you a fairy tale. In any case, the defense has somehow made its point. The witness had both a motive and an opportunity to kill Dr. Maractus. More fairy tales. This whole trial is a fairy tale. Then please, pull us back down to reality, Miss Tiala. I'm giving you one last chance to explain yourself. This is it. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand that night? And what was Alita Tiala doing inside? That's what I'm wondering. Like, why was he pulling it? I just imagine her like hiding inside, like with like a whip, like go doctor, go, pull me along. Time to get to the bottom of this case. But maybe he didn't even know she was in there. That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kitaki family's hands. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Kitakis had sent me. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. I don't believe you. You knew about the botched operation. So you tried to get rid of the chart to save yourself. I won't make excuses. And I did warn the good doctor. I gave him a chance. I told him that Brat got his health checkup report. And that he was coming to settle the score. I see. Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. This is the last testimony. Either I perceive the truth or it's over. All right, perceive. So she fiddles with her ring, we know that. That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. I had no intention of ever letting the chart fall into the Kitaki family's hands. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Kitakis had sent me. So is she going to have the same movement? Because the only one where she looks like she could fiddle with her ring is here. That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. Maybe I should press first? So, you did go to steal that chart. Were you listening? I said I asked him for it. The victim was a man in good health. I don't see how she could have coerced him. True, it would have been impossible without a pistol. What if she did have a pistol? I'll admit I wanted the chart. That much is true. My reason was simple. Let me perceive this. I don't know what happens if I'm wrong. But this is the only stance where she's twiddling, possibly twiddling with her ring. To ask for the chart. Oh, okay, so she didn't do it. Wait, here again? That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus. Okay, so she's not doing it at all here. Okay, so I don't think it's here. Okay, stop. Pass. Does she do something else then? I don't see... Okay, so that's not it. Here, maybe? So she's in the same stance here and here. Huh. Let me... What's her last statement? So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. Here, let's try pressing her on this. But that was really all that happened. What were all those noodle bowls doing in there? How should I know? There weren't any bowls when I went. I know that much. Why don't you let me be and go look for your killer someplace else, alright? Do I detect uncertainty there? This is my last chance. Apollo, any word from your bracelet? Yeah, actually. I felt it respond. I couldn't see a thing. It's up to you, Apollo. Okay, here comes justice. So I do think that last statement is where it wants me to perceive, but I don't really see... What is she doing here? There must be something here. Is she like playing with her earring or something on the other side? Let's try perceiving here. So I gave up, went home. All I did was talk to him. Oh, okay. Hear it again. I don't see her doing anything. Oh, here. She's like twitching or something. Maybe? That's the only time I saw her move. All I did was talk and lie. What? Show me proof. I'm pretty sure about this one. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Little slip in confidence and they give it all away. The proof is you, Miss Tiala. All I did was talk to him. You claim? You can't hide your own nervous twitch when you say those words. My twitch? What are you talking about? I saw it with my eyes. You have a habit of scratching the area of your neck around the edge of your scarf. What? What? This is working better than I'd hoped. Her unconscious actions tell the truth she won't say. Habits and lies, 2 dots. Connect the dots and find the truth. Don't look at me like that. I told you the truth. It seems that when you recall what really happened to that office, you can't keep your hands off your neck, can you? It seems that nervous habits are unconscious reactions that manifest when someone is trying to hide something. You can't hide behind your scarf, Miss Tiala. Something happened between you and the victim in the Maractus office. And I've got proof that shows exactly what happened. Uh-oh. Well, we have the bullet. Ah. What? I also have this lamp. I wonder if the lamp... I know at some point I'm gonna have to present this. I kind of want to present the bullet. Do I need to look at it? What it... Let's see what it says here. Wow, it's all mushed. That was one tough safe. You know, it looks kind of yummy, huh? What? Like ice cream? Mm-hmm. Caramel. You certainly have an active imagination, Trucy. Yeah. I feel like it's either this or the lamp. But I'm not sure. I kind of want to present the lamp. I feel like that's important. Oh, what's that? You're touching your scarf again. There's something unusual about this lamp. The bulb is broken, and there's a red splotch on the cord. Seeing how you hide your neck, I think I can come up with a plausible explanation for the lamp state. Well, spit it out. This talking in circles nonsense is killing me. Very well. The answer is very simple. Miss Alita Tiala, please remove your scarf. Oh, what? Does she have paint? Was it blood or paint? I think it's paint. Eee! Because I think they said it was like bright red. I don't think it was blood.
Objection!
This is a trial to determine what happened in that park. Yeah, we seem to have drifted off target. No, we haven't. Just let me do my thing. Let me cook. We'll find out soon enough if we're drifting. As soon as the witness removes her scarf. I won't do it. This is insane. I'm an unrelated third party. You can't order me to remove my clothing. Miss Tiala, I'm afraid you've forgotten what's already been proven. What? You're hardly unrelated. I was about to say, I was like, you are not an unrelated third party. Remove your scarf. No. All right. What's under there? But I guess if it was paint, she could have just washed it off. I knew it. So I was right, wasn't I, Miss Alita Tiala? Oh, Jew. Whoa. Your neck. That isn't what I think it is. Something did happen in that night at the Maractus clinic. Shoot, did he strangle her? Maybe it was blood. You need to get that chart back no matter what it took. Even if you had to steal your fiance's pistol to do it. Maybe she didn't mean to kill him. Maybe they just were in a fight and she was defending herself. Looking at this lamp and the witness's neck, it looks like the very opposite happened. Exactly. The victim in the clinic that night was this witness, specifically. You tried to threaten Dr. Maractus and he attacked you. That's what happened that night at the Maractus clinic. So then why she could claim self-defense now, right? Ah! I mean, ugh. But that still doesn't explain the noodle stand. How did he end up pulling a noodle stand? Oh, I have an idea. Maybe he thought he killed her. Okay. Maybe he attacked her, thought she was dead, put her in the noodle stand. Turned out she wasn't dead. And she's like, hey, you tried to kill me. Blocka. Will someone please tell me what really happened? I told you the truth already. I went to the clinic that night to warn Dr. Maractus. That gangster knows everything. He's coming for you. Looks like my clinic's seen its last patient. We have to get rid of that chart. Quick, open your safe. Give it to me. So you can save your own skin? What? I know what you're up to. You went in with the family, and if they see that chart, you're finished. Leaving me holding the short straw. But if I'm going down, I'll want some company. You. And what happened next? He jumped at me and knocked me to the floor. Then, he took that cord. Jeez, this is violent. Pal Maractus was serious, deadly serious. He really tried to strangle me. I must have blacked out. Aha, yep. So then, she should just say it was self-defense. I feel like she could have just, well, I guess if she did that, she would have had to admit why she went to the clinic. So you were the victim. And the red splotch on the cord was your, oh, lipstick. Okay, it wasn't blood. I didn't want to remember that night. That's why I didn't bring it up. There. Are you happy now? I was out cold, almost killed. And you claim I then stuck into that noodle stand? But how could I? Nah. Well, one thing is clear. We now know what really happened at the Maractus clinic. It would seem that our victim was not entirely without blame himself. I'm sorry. I get so nervous just thinking of it. It's hard to breathe. I've told you everything. Can I go home now? You bear some responsibility for events that day, true. Yet if you were also a victim, this court would owe you some sympathy. Well, Mr. Justice, I believe this clears up the remaining questions for Miss Tiala. When did this happen? Suddenly everyone's sympathizing with her. I don't know what to think anymore, Apollo. I mean, is that it? No, that's not it. Do we know everything we need to know about Miss Tiala? We do not. Very well. This finishes the cross-examination of this. Even Gavin wants more information. Heh. Heh. Not so fast. This party's just getting started. Now we rock. What? Those spikes on your head are softer than they look. Or do you not have the stomach to go all the way? Prosecutor Gavin? Pal Maractus choked Alita Tiala. She fell unconscious. But what happened next? He's right. There's more we don't know. But she was choked hard enough to leave that mark. She would have been out for a while. Even still, what if it was her in that noodle stand? Alita Tiala, half dead, Dr. Maractus pulling that stand. And a bullet fired from inside the noodle stand. What if it's all true? We might have already figured out what truly happened that night. Miss Alita Tiala, as you can see, we're not through with you just yet. You really want to blame me for this murder, don't you? You too, Prosecutor Gavin? Me? Fraulein, I only wish to know the truth. Well, let's go back over what we've learned up till now. On the day of the murder, Waki saw his checkup report, from which he learned about the bullet still inside him. So he took a pistol from the family stash, with the intent to give Dr. Maractus some of his own medicine. And Miss Tiala heard about this from Waki, so she went to the Maractus clinic ahead of him, in order to get rid of the chart with her signature. But then, something happened. Yeah. Sounds like he figured it all out. But remember, I was the victim. I was out cold. But what about Dr. Maractus? That does seem to be the problem. He had just strangled Alita Tiala. Perhaps he thought to death. What did he do after his crime? I was just knocked out, not dead. From the state of his clinic and the scene in the park, I think it's clear what the good doctor did next. Well, Air Forehead, care to guess? Well, Mr. Justice, what did Dr. Maractus do? Maybe he did think he killed Alita Tiala. Do I have evidence to show what he did next? Oh, but we also have this whole hit and run thing. Maybe he threw her in the car? But how would she go from the car to the stand? I feel like now's a good time to present this. Yeah, how would that explain the hit and run and all the paint? do this. Oh no, I'm wrong. Dang it. Okay. Yep, this dialogue. Okay, I'm wrong. I was thinking maybe it would show he was driving? Okay, what did he do? Okay, maybe he did think he killed Alita Tiala. Did he put the slippers on her? Did he take off her shoes and put slippers on her so that she would look like a patient? Huh. I'm kind of running out of tries here. I don't know what else to present. Oh no, I'm losing points here. Oh no. Okay. What did he do? Maybe I should present the noodle stand? I don't know. I feel like I'm running out of things. Okay. As his next move, Dr. Maractus stole Guy Eldoon's noodle stand. What killing me disturbed him that much? So much he randomly stole a noodle stand? It wasn't so random. Remember all the bowls in the clinic's foyer? Bowls that belonged inside that stand? I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? That stand was at the clinic. However, the question is, why did he remove the bowls? Maybe because the stand was heavy? Or he wanted to put something in the stand in their place? Ah, wait, you don't mean I do. Okay, so, but how are we gonna tie this back to the hit and run now? Dr. Maractus did replace those bowls with something. Your corpse, Miss Tiala. My corpse? Dr. Maractus panicked. He thought he'd killed you. His next move would be to dispose of the body. Okay, so I was right in that sense. That's crazy talk. You're all crazy. Then let's think about it. Logically, the doctor had a place to dispose of you in mind. But on his way there, who should he run into but the defendant, Walkie-Talkie? I questioned your logic. What's this, Prosecutor Gavin? The park is a dead end. Why would he head in that direction to begin with? That's right. He had no reason to go there. Oh, now I get it. It was a trick. That spoiled brat made him do it. He made the doctor steal the stand. Oh, come on. Tell me, why would someone go to a dead end? Unless the park was his destination. Yeah, it looked like there was like a river or something behind there. Apparently the defense has an idea. Tell us where Dr. Maractus was heading with the stand. Or was he dragging that stand? Probably. I mean, this looks like this is a river, right? There? That's a river. Yes, Your Honor. I scarcely need to explain why. A perfect place to dispose of a body. He was going to throw me in that river? He didn't have many other options, Frau Lane. I believe this clears up all of the remaining questions. The victim pulling the stand and the defendant before him. And inside the stand, you, Miss Alita Tiala. And then, the denouement? Wesley Stickler, of panty-snatching fame, walks up. Seeing the two men, he shouts. In that instant? Yeah, so maybe, I guess the hit and run would have had to be before all this went down. And boom. So she has a separate gun. Wait, where'd she get a separate gun? So I shot him? You were the only one who could have stolen Waukie's pistol. It had to be you. Oh, okay. So she did have the pistol. Well, Miss Tiala? Nice work. You mean I'm right? I mean, you've done a fine job dreaming up a story to get that spoiled brat off the hook. You're the one who's dreaming. Paul has backed up everything he said with facts. If you're so sure he's making it up, give us another reason. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand through the park? Who knows? But there's one gaping hole in your logic. I think Mr. Gavin knows whereof I speak. Where of what? I can't believe she's still trying to deny this. Is this true, Prosecutor Gavin? Must I always be the one to point out Air Forehead's errors? Maybe there really is something. I believe that Frau Lane speaks of Air Doctor's car. Okay, yeah, so this is what I'm trying to figure out. That's right, the Maractus Clinic has that big garage. Which sat a green sports car, was it? Oh, he didn't want to drive his car because he had already done the hit and run, so his car was already messed up. Aha. Why would he steal the stand in the first place? If he wanted to carry a body, he would have used his car. Yeah, not if he had already committed a crime of a hit and run prior. And so we find our victim without probable cause to steal that stand. And our defense without a case. I have an idea. You know that green car? I bet it wouldn't run. It was broken. What an excellent counter-argument, Frau Lane. Too bad you're quite wrong. Eh? Don't tell me you've forgotten what happened to your daddy. Daddy? That's right. That night. The car that hit Mr. Wright. Was that green sports car? Oh yes, I'd nearly forgotten about it. Afterward, he drove it back to the garage. It ran fine. That's right. So why didn't he use his beloved sports car, Ugh. A glaring contradiction, to be sure. More glaring than your forehead. No, no. Well, maybe... Did it have paint on it? Because it happened in front of the Kataki's house. Maybe he didn't want to admit that he spilled paint everywhere, and then they would get mad at him. Well, Mr. Justice, why didn't Dr. Maractus use his car to carry the body? Is that a groan of surrender I hear? Some advice. Now is a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. Everything I've learned. Mr. Justice, this contradiction casts doubt on your entire case. This is truly your last chance. The defense will explain what happened will tell us what happened that night. I mean, do we want to say the car didn't run? Someone else stole the stand. He carried the body in the car. I don't think he carried the body in the car. I'm going to say the car didn't run. I don't think he carried the body in the car. But they're right. If he drove the car home after the hit and run, didn't he? I'm going to go with this. I have an idea. It's all coming together. That night, Dr. Maractus couldn't use his car. Ha, now you're making even less sense than usual. Not according to my information, Miss Tiala. Put one and one together and that explanation is simple. If it's so simple, perhaps you can show us some evidence? Show us proof why the car wouldn't run that night. I mean, all I have is this. Mirror. I don't know if this will work. This is proof of why the car broke down that night? Well, Prosecutor Gavin? It's proof of a malfunction, all right. A malfunction in Air Forehead's brain. No! No! Darn it. Very funny, guys. You will amend your malfunction and present evidence that makes sense. Okay, so I think I'm in the right direction because... don't tell me it's because he shoved panties in the exhaust pipe. Yeah, I definitely think I'm on the right track. Is it because of the panties? I mean, the only thing I can think of left is that Stickler had shoved panties in the exhaust and maybe the car wouldn't work. I'm running out of chances here. Let's see now. Panties again? Oh, I know. It's getting old and weird. All sorts of things come out of my panties. Please stop. Even the truth. Another crime was committed the night of the murder. The theft of these panties. The latest in a string of similar thefts, actually. But that night, the snatcher was caught in the act. A brave young girl chased the thief until he hid in the Maractus Clinic garage. What? The snatcher hid the panties there before running. Perhaps someone in this court remembers where he hid them? Why, weren't they found in the car's exhaust pipe? Exactly. By the way, I learned something yesterday. A very important piece of information. And I learned it from you, Prosecutor Gavin. So were you here investigating? And I was on my way home when my hog gave up the ghost. Your hog? My motorcycle won't start. A clogged exhaust. Oh, okay. Too bad it looks like such a nice bike, too. Hard to believe that it could just break just from that. Cars, motorbikes, they're all the same. Clog the exhaust and they won't run. Oh, okay. I was wondering what that exchange was about. How interesting. While Miss Tiala and the doctor were struggling, the panty snatcher snuck in the Maractus garage. From that time until the time we found these, that car wouldn't start. Well, what? That's why Dr. Maractus had to use a needle stand. It was the next closest thing he could think of. Air guitar of justice. Well, Miss Tiala? This wraps your doubts up quite nicely, I think. So it does. Where? Where am I? So dark, can't see. Cramped. The pain. My throat's burning. What's your problem? You, Doc. I know what you did. Walkie? You lied to me, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine, man. Wait, Let me explain. Fine, I'll give you your last request. Listen, you're being tricked. But not how you think. It's not just me. No. You'll ruin everything. Oh, he's about to tell Waki about her background. I have to stop him. Cease this at once, you two. Cease. Blocka. But I thought he knew she was part of the operation. Or maybe he just knew she was at the clinic. Maybe not that she was part of the operation that failed. Funny, this isn't the way it was supposed to turn out. Oh well, too bad. To jail, miss. There's still one mystery. How did you manage to disappear from that stand? In the silence after the shot, I heard the witness running. I believe we heard as much from Wesley Stickler. He went to use a public phone to inform the police. Which is when I made my escape. Which is when you left that slipper print. Dr. Maractus didn't bother taking my slippers off. I threw them out after I stepped in that paint, though. That was your mistake. No, my biggest mistake was coming to you for help, Mr. Justice. Oh, so she stepped in the paint after... Okay, I see. Eh? I believed in you. You and your anything agency. If anyone would get Waki declared guilty, it was you. She thought he was incompetent. Yeah, that would make sense. If she was running away, she would step in the paint that was outside of the Kentucky mansion. I believe we've reached a conclusion of sorts. Prosecutor Gavin, how is Miss Alita Tiala doing? She's confessed to everything. We're processing her arrest now, but wait. Did I miss it? Why did she take her shoes off to begin with? Now I'm not sure. Prosecutor Gavin sure seems calm for someone who just lost. I think he already knew. He'd figured out she was a killer a while ago. Some advice? Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. He lost, but I didn't exactly win either. Something the matter, Air Forehead? Looks like it's time to announce a verdict. Not guilty. Yay! I don't know how happy Waki's gonna be though. His fiance's going to jail. So I guess he didn't know she did it. Court is adjourned. Or maybe he did. All right, so. Great job, Apollo. You did it. Yeah, we did, somehow. Waki's off the hook. Free to become the gangster he's always wanted to be. And he has you to thank. Hey, attorney man. Yeah, you're gonna pay for what you did to my Alita, Holmes. Or to blame, I guess. You give my Alita back. Stupid pointy-headed attorney with a death wish. Oh, enough, Waki. His father's gonna put him in his place. Ah, Mr. Kataki. It's high time you opened your eyes, Waki. What do you know, old man? I think it's about time you opened yours. Giving up the life, trying to become some kind of businessman. Don't talk about what you don't understand, Waki. I'm afraid the guard is gonna throw them both out. If not in jail, wouldn't that be a happy ending? Hey, maybe we can help them out. We know why Mr. Kataki needs to make so much money. Maybe we should tell Waki. Oh, Waki, Apollo has something to tell you. Huh? I do? Way to put me on the spot. Eh? What's that? Show him the reason why, Apollo. Why is Mr. Kataki trying to become a businessman? Wait, I don't know. Maybe to pay for his new operation? Like if they can find someone to do this operation, it would cost a lot of money? Think about it, Waki. Think about your condition. I talked with your mother, Little Plum, yesterday. It pays, but we need a lot of money right now. Clean money, that is. She doesn't mean... You aren't really... Oh, he looks normal now. Are you? I searched the globe, and I found one. A doctor who can take that bullet out of you, Waki. Aw, they love their son. But it's an expensive procedure. Man, but you got plenty of money already, don't you? I was supposed to say, why does it have to be clean money? I'm sure the doctor would take any money. I won't use it. It was the gangster life that did this to you, Waki. I want to help you. And I want to do it clean. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. Oh, a father's love. Please understand, Waki. Dad. Oh, right in the feels. Man, I see how it is, old man. Always you looking out for Waki. Listen, good old man. One day, I'm gonna take you out. Whoa, then we'll see who's the OG. Okay. You try to hide in your business suit, I'll find you. Stupid old geezer. He just doesn't like that he got the feels. My walkie. No, it says it should be. Mr. Kataki. I liked him more without the puppy dog eyes. I'm glad to have met you. I'm not so good with words, but I know a professional job when I see one. Thank you. Who, me? I don't think... Someday. I'll bake you one of our latest, the Kentucky lime pie. He's opening a pie shop. So long. You could pay me in money. And he was gone. Well, let's head back, Apollo. To the Right Anything Agency. Hey, since when do I work at your agency? Ah, we make a good team. Don't just stand there. Let's get going. Huh, why not? She did help me out. And there's a few questions that still need answers. Like what? Like this power bind that she showed me. And my bracelet. If anyone can help me figure it out, it's her. It's the power of justice. Though I can't say I care much for what her father has become. Oh, that's right. We have to go someplace first. Huh? Where? Why, to claim our reward from Mr. Eldoon. Oh, salty noodles, right. You gotta stand back already? Oh, and after that, you can come see my show. With a special appearance by the amazing Mr. Hat. No, I don't like this guy. He's creepy. Oh, it's special, all right. Please, anything but him. The end. All right, well, we'll continue with the next case, next chapter, in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and if you enjoyed your time, leave a like and say hi down in the comments below, and consider subscribing if you want to catch more of this series. And I'll see you guys in the next episode and the next case of the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy.